We're gonna talk about one of my favorite things, which is expectations and setting them and managing them. If you guys have a team, if you guys are hiring, if you guys have people underneath of you, if you feel like you're doing double work within your team, this hopefully extremely valuable to you. We're gonna talk about how to effectively set, manage, and track expectations for your team. When I was first growing Braintegic, one of the things that would happen is we would get a new client and I'd be like, this is exciting, we have a new client, but I'm actually really too busy and I need to get this off of my plate. So when I was first starting to hire people, I'd be like, just go ahead and make this edit dope. And then what would happen is I would get the piece of content back and I would say, what the heck did I just get back from this person? And then what would happen is I would say to myself, you know what, it's just faster if I do it. And then I just go back to busy and then now I'm on this hamster wheel. My issue was I just sucked at being a manager and I sucked at setting expectations. Your job is to set expectations, and the more that you can set expectations with your team, the more that they will actually be able to fulfill that. Second thing is chief tool provider. The more tools I can provide to my team to set them up for success, to actually hit those expectations, the better. What I did is I hired a mentor and completely changed our life in our business. And without him really teaching me the tools and teaching me about expectations and hiring people and managing people, we would not have been able to grow. So then what I learned from Alan just regarding expectations is really what allowed us to go to over 25 people. I had less stress because I knew things were getting done. I had more time freedom because I didn't feel like I had to be in there all the time. We had a team of A players and we had layers of leadership. So we got to the point where we had editors being managed by our creative strategists who were managed by our creative director. Really the goal, and from a visual perspective, I always like to look at this. Imagine if the pit crew member changing this tire just guessed on what they should be doing when the car pulls up. Each one of these people that we see on this little GIF has really clear expectations. We just want to think of our business like that. A couple things that we need to realize: whoever we're hiring, they're not a mind reader. They're not going to be able to understand what you want them to do. They're not going to care as much as you do. So as much as you want to hire somebody to think like you, to act like you, to have as much skin in the game as you do in your business, it's just not going to be realistic. They're not going to have the same entrepreneurial drive as you. So you think really entrepreneurial, think big. There's a reason you started this company. There's a reason you guys are having success, is because you guys think entrepreneurial. But that client success manager, that editor, is probably not thinking about social media posting or accounting or taxes or big picture or vision for your company. They're not going to assume the next task and take massive initiatives. So if you don't tell them what to do, then we can't assume that they're going to take massive initiative. Another framework that I like to think about is just go back to the time when you had a job. What's the first thing that you would want to know as you embark on this new job? What does success look like? When you hire somebody, can you confidently say you know what success looks like for the role that you're hiring them for? So the reality is your team is thinking the same things. We don't want to hire someone and assume they'll know what to do with broad context. Just edit this video. Hire someone and throw them in the deep end, expecting them to be able to swim. Hire someone with ambiguity in their role and expectations, and it burns them out and constantly confuses them. Can you edit 20 videos today? Can you send this over in a couple hours? What's the status of this? How many times did you post this week? And what happens is the person on the other side, they're feeling frustrated, confused, burnt out, and feeling like they're just being bombarded, and you, at the end of the day, look bad as a business owner. McDonald sells 2.5 billion hamburgers every year. That equates to 75 McDonald's hamburgers sold every second, or 6.5 million hamburgers each day. They did it by setting really clear expectations, having KPIs, having training manuals, investing in their team, having systems and processes, all that sort of stuff that the team follows, that we enforce and manage, and that compounds into us delivering for our clients. We got to think like this, because what happens if we don't is our team members get confused, they end up leaving, they end up not being bought in, and then we just feel frustrated and burnt out, and it's just a complete mess. We want to get really good at setting expectations. So how do we set expectations? And really the question that we want to answer is, what does success look like in my role? That is really what we need to define. And it all starts with the job descriptions. I always say that we can't see a forest if we're in the trees. So these are trees, this is a forest. So we just got to zoom out for a second, and we need to take the time to set these expectations and to create these expectations for our team members. So when it comes to expectations, what we like to do is SMART expectations. SMART stands for one, specific. So we just need to clearly define what the goal or expectation is. So create short form videos per day. Measurable, make sure the goal can be tracked or measured. Hit 100% of deadlines that's laid out inside of Notion. Attainable, goals that are attainable given the resources and constraints. Reach out to clients weekly to provide an update on their statuses. Relevant, ensure the goal aligns with broader objectives or priorities. Priorities, send 20 DMs a day to prospective clients. And then time-based, set a deadline or time frame for achieving the goal. Fill out EOD form daily. And if we're hiring somebody, if we're bringing someone on board and I don't have stuff like this, then it's going to be ambiguous and people aren't going to be able to do a good job. I used ChatGPT and had ChatGPT create a little prompt for us. On that point is we don't rise to the level of roles, we follow the level of our systems. So basically, this is a James Clear thing. If you guys want to 50K a month, if you guys want to hit 20K a month, if you guys want to to hit 30K a month and you want your team to help get you there, what we need to do is we need to fall back on the systems that our team's going to actually do every single day that's going to give us the output that's going to allow us to achieve the goal that we're actually looking to achieve. So we need to define and create the systems and expectations for our team so that they follow these, and then if they follow those, then that will get us to the outcome. Now we're going to talk about is measuring expectations. The question that we want to answer here is, how will this be measured? What we would do weekly one-to-ones with our team members. What oftentimes come up is someone would ask, am I doing a good job? What a lot of people do is they go based off of like feelings, or like they're just like guessing, yeah, I think you're doing good, which is not what we want to do. We don't want to go based off of feelings or guessing. What we want to do is we want to use data and measure what's important in our business in order to know, hey, are you crushing it or is there room for improvement? So really two options for this that I want to go over. Option one is an end of day form. End of day form, so if we followed the steps that we just laid out, which is we create specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based expectations for our team, all we need to do is we need to just put those into a Google form, and then we need to ask questions that are related to that. So for example, if a specific goal was to create 4 short form videos per day, one of the questions on the end of day form would be, how many videos did you edit today? And now you don't need to guess as like a manager. Like, this makes it so freaking easy for you, because all you need to do is just check the EOD form. And then what we can do with that EOD form is basically create a Zap, and then we're going to automate it into an EOD form like database. Quick pro tip on EOD forms is add additional questions that can also affect their workability. Stuff that we ask is, how would you rate your mindset today? What can I best do to support you today? Are there any tools or resources that you need from us to make sure that you're set up for success? Make sure it's not all just like super transactional, and maybe leave some space in the EOD form, or open up some space in the EOD form so that space for them to communicate potentially what they're feeling, or maybe they need some sort of support. A couple things on EOD forms. It is paramount for these to be filled out daily. I would have implications if it is not filled out daily. If you guys have a team currently and you guys aren't doing it, there's going to be some resistance, there's going to be some change, and there's going to be a lot of accountability that's going to be needed from you to get this done, but it's paramount that they're filled out daily. Also note that it's going to change over time, like the EOD form, the expectations, all this sort of stuff, they're going to change as you guys grow. Second thing is weekly goal tracking. This is like setting goals for your team essentially on a weekly basis. So very similarly, like we have the KPIs and expectations from our team. What we can begin to do is we can create like a target from like a goal perspective, and pretty much what we call like projections. So what we do is we meet with like our team once a week, and what we'll do is we'll set goals for our team members on what we want to achieve in the specific time period. So easy way to like set goals and projections for your team members is using this goal setting database inside of the Agency operating system. What we can do basically is, let's just say I'm going to meet with Sierra, and Sierra, our goal this week is to edit 20 Instagram reels, and we want this due on the 10th. Now our target is to do 20 reels, and the actual is 0, and you're going to be in, I guess you're in marketing, it's going to be Sierra. Once this goal is set, what Sierra can do throughout the week is she can start to update the targets. And what we can do is we can even create a view for Sierra. Now we can see all of Sierra's goals. So thing with like the goals, it should be updated throughout the week. So like an EOD form can't really update it. I would set up like a weekly meeting with your team if you guys don't already. If you guys do have a team, just setting up like a weekly meeting with your team to review this and set goals with them. And then maybe there's even another meeting to review the goals. With the goals, the thing is that it only tracks numbers. If you're just using goals, you might lose out on some of the immeasurables that are also important to people, and you can't really automate it. What we want to avoid is vague expectations. So oftentimes I see people be like, oh yeah, just edit like 1 to 5 videos. Like I would much rather have a stretch goal, like a stretch expectation, or what they're going to be building up to, than have it be like a really big range. Over communicate expectations. So oftentimes like we'll get really excited about setting expectations. We'll tell somebody to do something, and then we just never address them. Like we'll say it to them once, and then we just never communicate it. There's no accountability from the owners, and what happens is it's going to start fading away. And then one day you're going to be really frustrated, and you're going to like go on this expectation kick, when in reality you just need to be constantly setting expectations and addressing them over and over and over again. Don't be too rigid. If you're rigid in the expectations, like you're just going to struggle with changing. Just know that things are going to change, because the EOD forms, the goals are definitely going to change over time. Tight feedback loop, super important. So the red flag here is just missed expectations going untalked about. If you have goals to hit 4 videos today and you hit 2 videos, you think about it, you just feel frustrated, you feel that little burn in your chest, and then you don't talk to anybody about it, that's on you. We need a tight feedback loop. If you're doing an EOD form, somebody only does 1 video when they're expected to do 4. We need to call that out as soon as possible. This is something I see a lot with people with like partners, duplicating the work. We both handle sales. We both do marketing. Huge red flag. Okay, we want to be really freaking clear on who's doing what. So if you guys do have partners and you have multiple people in your organization, and you guys are both high level and you guys are growing the business together, we need to really define what your expectations are and what your partner's expectations as you guys grow this together. Because if you guys are going in the same direction, you guys are doing the same thing, it's a complete waste of time. That's it. Thanks guys for joining.